Hi, everybody. This is the Baseball Hut, the amazing, spectacular, terrific, the great one, the People's Champion. Your host, and welcome back to the Baseball Hut. Hope you like this video. Hit that subscribe button. So we had a rough game today. Hasn't been too many games like this season, in this very short season so far. But the Mets lost today. They got their hands handed to them. They lost 10-0. It's the Dodgers and Tyler Glasnow. And as you know, Adrian Houser started this game. A couple of things before we get into his start. A couple of things need to sort of improve. We know the Mets have won 6 in a row, but the big thing they need to improve upon is their defense. It didn't really affect this game much, but they were saying during the game the Mets have given up 18 unearned runs. They're considered the worst defensive team in baseball. Even though the Red Sox are out there, So the Mets defense needs to improve. And we have some very good defensive players, especially up the middle with McNeil, Lindor, and Bader. So it's very surprising the defense has been so weird. I guess maybe it's part of the ranges in there. I don't know. But so let's get into Adrian Houser a little bit in this video, which is the subject. Now, he's been with the Brewers, he was sort of like a 5th, 6th starter there. He's a guy that has been sort of, I guess the best way to describe him, he's a long man. And that's basically what he is. He's a long man. And unfortunately, he's been the kind of pitcher that has sort of, he only gets 20 starts in a season. He's a guy that obviously David Stearns knows from his time in Milwaukee, but he's been a guy that's only got 20 starts a year. He kind of spot starts. I mean, that's the best way. And he comes out of the bullpen. I don't know, and this was one of my fears for this season, was him in particular. Not so much the rest of this rotation. They've gotten quality work from the rest of the rotation, aside from the fact that they don't go long in games. That's a problem. How long they go in games is an issue. But Adrian Houser is a guy that he's not a regular starter. And obviously, if you watch today, this was not a great matchup for him because he's a ground ball pitcher and he's going up against some very powerful left-handed bats in this lineup with Max Muncy, Shohei Ohtani, and obviously with Freddie Freeman. He's not going to do well in this lineup, and he was getting the ball up. He didn't throw one ground ball out in this game. A lot of fly balls for a ground ball pitcher. That is killer. So when you have a guy and he doesn't throw as hard as some of the other guys, his stuff is a little bit straighter than the other guys in this rotation. When you don't have superior stuff, and you have guys that aren't, you have a guy that doesn't throw hard. He's got to keep the ball down. You're going to have a big problem, and he obviously did. He gave up that home run to Ohtani in the 3rd inning. That made Ohtani the all-time Japanese home run leader in the major leagues at 176. But he has not been acquitted himself too well, and this is Houser. Now, the 14 walks, he has walked over 19 to 3rd innings of the 5 starts that he has made. Let me just double-check to make sure that's how many starts. 4 starts. Over 4 starts, Adrian Houser has walked 14 batters over 19 to 3rd innings. That's over 6 walks per 9 innings. And today he struck out 3, and he struck out in 12 for the whole season. That's not great. And he gave up 8 runs. His ERA is 7.45 in the 4 starts that he has made. Now, I don't think we're there yet in terms of pulling the plug on him, at least temporarily, from the rotation. But he's going to get another start or 2 or 3. We know that Senga is not ready yet. He's not going to be ready for another month. We don't have Tyler McGill. However, we have 2 guys in the minor leagues right now that are right now so far have pitched really well. The veteran lefty, Joey Lucchesi, who's bounced back and forth from here and the majors and AAA, of course, and he's pitched really well to start the season. And then of course there's the young supposed ace, quote unquote, the young guy Christian Scott, who's pitched really well in AAA, but he's getting his feet wet right now. I don't think that the Mets will, that is an option. Probably down the road, maybe 2 months from now, maybe by the time we get to the middle of June. Right now, I don't think that way, but I think that Lucchesi is more of an option. And he pitched really well last year. He had a good spring training. He didn't make the team. And he's pitched really, really well in AAA so far. So those are guys, those two guys in particular. And we do have Max Krasnick, who's on a rehab assignment, who's been a starter. That's another option too. Now, I'm not going to say this guy. I mean, people were saying at the first start, Houser, he's terrible, get him out. No, you be patient. And the Mets just won 6 games in a row. But obviously the walks is a major concern. I'm looking at the Mets baseball reference right now. The walks, walks per 9 innings is rather unsettling for me to look at. Luis Severino, 3.9 walks per 9 innings. Jose Quintana, 4.8 walks per 9 innings. He's a contact guy. Sean Manaea, 4.6 strikeouts per walks per 9 innings. He's more of a touch and feel guy. Edwin Diaz, which I couldn't believe, looking at this now, 4.7. That is 2019 level. That's a little scary. The one thing I mentioned about Edwin is that he's not been able to command his fastball over the first 8 games that he's pitched in relief. Although he did pitch really well on Saturday, and he had that fastball going up at 98 miles an hour. Nobody was hitting that on Saturday when he came in the 8th inning to shut down the middle of that lineup. But the walks are very high. In 7 2/3 innings, Edwin has walked 4 batters. And he's given up a home run. He's given up 1 run. But more importantly, is they were saying during the game, the Mets have walked 4.4 batters per 9 innings. That is unacceptable, folks. That is unacceptable. Unacceptable. That will catch up with you very, very quickly. And you see that, and we've seen that, long innings from these starters. We know that in the first start for Jose Quintana opening day, how much he was laboring in that very first start against the Brewers. We've seen long innings. We know that Jose Butto struggled in his third start against the Dodgers. And obviously Houser was having a difficult time commanding his fastball and getting that ball down. So those are things that is a concern, because it will even out. This stuff evens out. And all these bad numbers will catch up to you. Drew Smith, get this number. He has pitched 9 innings, okay? His ERA is 1.00, but he's walked 7 batters. That is 7 walks per 9 inning. Now, the one thing I've talked about this past offseason, is that the Mets need to fire Jeremy Hefner. Because one thing I've noticed, and I think the numbers bear it out, 3 of the 4 years that he has been the Mets pitching coach, the Mets have had a very, very high walk rate. And the most important coach on a Major League Baseball team is the pitching coach. And the fact that the walk rate on all these guys has been so high for 3 of the 4 years that he's been the pitching coach, I'm sorry. I know they all wax poetic about him, but I'm not a big fan of his, and the numbers bear out to me what the issue is. Now, we can take solace from what he's done with Reed Garrett. Reed Garrett's come out of nowhere. He's a 31-year-old guy, and he's leading all the relievers in strikeouts. And he kind of struggled, I believe, on, was it Friday? He struggled hard Friday, but it wasn't his fault. It was 2 errors by Joey Wendell. And then, of course, on Saturday, he got the save. He's a guy that has pitched really well for the Mets. But the walk rate, Brooks Raley, who just was put on the injured list, 3.9 walks per 9 innings, unacceptable for your bullpen. Jorge Lopez, 3.4, which is the lowest of the regular relievers in that bullpen. Correction. Adam Ottavino, has the lowest walk rate on the entire staff. Now that I look on it, he has not walked one batter in 8 1/3 innings. So just overall, the pitching, that walk rate has got to come down. It has got to get into the threes. It cannot stay at 4.4. That is unsustainable for any kind of winning. So it's going to be a very interesting situation here for the Mets, because they're going to have to figure out, like I said, how much longer do they go with Houser, and how do they get this walk rate down throughout the whole staff, and in particular the bullpen, because the bullpen's pitching a lot more than you want. Well, you let me know what you think about this video. Do you think they should bring Lucchesi up? Do you think they should bring Scott up? Just let me know in the comment section. Of course, thank you for watching. Please subscribe to Baseball Hut. We'll get them again on Monday when the Mets play the Giants, and I'll see you later.